Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're looking at Lucid Motors and Aston Martin. In the latest breaking news, and this is actually quite exciting for Lucid, Lucid Motors partner with Aston Martin to power their electric lineup in the future. Lucid and Aston Martin has made a long-term strategic alliance in order to integrate and to provide Lucid innovative electric powertrains and battery system valued at over $450 million. Now, this comes after Lucid was awarded the 2023 World Luxurious Car Award for the Lucid Air model. The agreement will help propel the long-term growth and success of both the giants in their respective industry. Now, this groundbreaking agreement is the first of its kind for Lucid Group's technology division, which will now be able to broaden its product range and open up potential for mainstream applications in the future. Aston Martin will be given direct access to Lucid cutting-edge powertrain technology like the twin motor drive unit, top-of-the-line battery hardware, and advanced Wunderbox. Now, in exchange, Aston Martin will be paying out excess fees with a combination of their own shares and cash payments. This will result in Lucid becoming a stakeholder of Aston Martin. This simply means that if this partnership continues, Lucid will gradually become a part owner of Aston Martin. This is quite incredible because, if anything, we thought it would be the other way around, where another company, could be looking to acquire Lucid. Not necessarily in the sense that Lucid would be looking to acquire shares of another company, but I guess this would be a smart way for Aston Martin to pay for all the equipment that it needs. Not just paying cash, but paying shares as well. And this can be more common than you can think. It is not unusual for a company to request to be paid in shares. It's not unusual at all. Furthermore, they will have supply bargains set up for Lucid powertrain components. Aston Martin Racing, green, sustainable, strategic, include a commitment to electrification and an investment of $2 billion in technology, for which they have secured a strategic supply agreement with Lucid Group. Provided access to industry-leading technology and powertrain components. This would be for current and for future BEV models. Additionally, Mercedes-Benz AG remains committed to extending Aston Martin with world-class technologies, including powertrains and electronic architectures for their internal combustion engine, hybrid and BEV vehicles across the brand's portfolio of hypercars, sports, GT, and SUV models. And we've got a quote from Peter Rawlinson, CEO and CTO of Lucid, and I quote, "This partnership will represent a landmark collaboration between Aston Martin and a storied marque with a rich history, including winning at Le Mans and its current success in Formula One, and the very best of Silicon Valley innovation and technology from Lucid. In line with strategy, Aston Martin selected Lucid, recognizing the profound benefits of adopting the world-leading electric drivetrain technology, exemplified by the breakthrough of 516 miles per hour EPA estimated range achieved by the Lucid Air Grand Touring." And now we've got a statement from Lawrence Stroll. This is the executive chairman of Aston Martin and part owner of the brand, of course. And I quote, "The supply agreement with Lucid is a game changer for the future EV-led growth of Aston Martin. Based on our strategy and requirements, we select Lucid, gaining access to the industry highest performance and most innovative technology for our future BEV models and products." This is looking good for both brands. I've got to say, this is a big move for Lucid. And if it does become a more successful strategy for Lucid, you could see this becoming quite a common thing to happen. What happens when Lucid becomes a company that supplies other company with equipment? Because Lucid does have great equipment and great hardware and great software as well. Right now, I do believe the Lucid Air, the fastest version of the Lucid Air, road legal vehicle, is faster than the Tesla Model Plaid. They tested it against a Model Plaid and a Bugatti and a Ducati. Lucid won all the times, I believe, which is really incredible, except for the fact that the Bugatti can catch you up eventually because it's just insane amount of top speed and power. But for the initial part of the race, Lucid is winning, and that says a lot. So a company that has great technology like Lucid, well, that's what makes them valuable. Their products that they've developed, that's what makes them valuable. And when they can loan and sell these products out to other manufacturers, Lucid can gain a way to make funding, to make money, as well as making partnerships that are long lasting. Other brands could benefit as well because other brands don't have to make the long-term investment of developing a motor, battery. Lucid has done all of this. Now they can just supply this to other brands, such as Aston Martin. Aston Martin is just one of the first companies. So what happens when other companies want to take a shorter path to developing electric vehicles and just go straight to Lucid and be like, we'd like to buy your electric motors, your battery, even perhaps your platform. Because vehicles that share the same platform can look drastically different. You can take a look at the Polestar 3 and the Volvo EX90. Both SUVs, same platform, but exterior-wise, the vehicles look drastically different. So if Lucid plans to sell their IP, not necessarily the rights to the IP, but just the products line, they can make a substantial living. They can make a lot of money doing this. And this could help to fund Lucid long-term ambition, which is, it's the gold. I still would like to see Lucid get acquired by another company, perhaps Mercedes, perhaps Apple, I don't know, perhaps BMW. But I think if Lucid had another manufacturer, a big manufacturer such as Mercedes, BMW, I think Lucid would be able to do a lot better. But I guess for Mercedes and BMW, they probably don't see it as an absolute necessity because BMW and Mercedes already sees themselves as luxurious brand, such as the entire world sees them that way. So why acquire another luxurious brand to make a small amount of vehicles? Well, because of the margins. Lucid vehicles are extremely expensive, which means that the profit and margin can be extremely large. However, will people buy the vehicles? That's the problem Lucid is facing. There are low delivery numbers, and the demand for Lucid vehicles are actually lower than expected as well. And this is to do with the fact that the vehicles are just ridiculously expensive. And this is because the Lucid vehicles are incredibly expensive. They're not necessarily cheap vehicles. Now with this news, Lucid Group stocks, it immediately started going back up, which was good for the brand, of course, but I think this will be just short term for the brand price going back up. I still believe that at $12 billion, it's still perhaps a little bit overvalued. I think 10 billion, 9 billion is more reasonable, to be honest. But the real question is, when can Lucid deliver 100,000 vehicles a year? That's the real question. And I'd have to say we're a long way from that. Rivian, on the other hand, they'll be doing 100,000 vehicles a year quite soon. I estimate Rivian to be delivering approximately 100,000 vehicles a year by 2025. If not 2025, certainly 2026. But Rivian delivered 20,000 last year. They're looking to deliver 40 to 50,000 this year. And each year they're just increasing. So it's looking really good for Rivian. But you can see that Rivian vehicles, despite them being expensive, they're not as expensive as Lucid, and the Rivian vehicles are bigger in size. And people want bigger vehicles now. People want utility vehicles, SUVs. Now, there's a few different stocks for the Aston Martin company, but I do believe this perhaps is the correct one. I probably have to double check. So it looks like this is the right one, the AML. Now, despite the saying $341, I don't think that's correct. But the value of the company is somewhere between 2.5 billion to around 3 billion. But Aston Martin has been doing really well lately. I'm not talking about the share price. The share price have been recovering drastic. The share price has certainly been recovering little by little over the last few years. But Formula One, Aston Martin is doing incredibly well. They're getting regular podiums with their number one driver, Fernando Alonso. So it's been looking really good for Aston Martin. So next year and the future is big for Aston Martin. Can they sustain this development growth in Formula One? This would be really good for the brand and the company. If they can sustain this, possibly even getting wins in the future, possibly even getting more than wins. What about fighting for championships in the future? Well, it could be looking really good for Aston Martin. But that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to see more. But just before we end this video, I was actually passing by the Aston Martin showroom quite recently. And this is in Bristol, this is in Cribbs Causeway. And I have to say, their showroom, I mean, I know these cars are built for James Bond, but the building, the showroom, it looks like something out of a James Bond movie. It just looks like a safe house, a secret villa, like somewhere that James Bond would live. This is what it looks like. This is actually what it looks like. It looks better in person as well. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.